So the Wigan side then, welcome return for Joe Lyde. He comes onto the right wing. Dean Bell, after playing in the international yesterday for New Zealand, teams up in the centre there at number 3. Jed Byrne is at 6, and there the two international forwards from yesterday, Andy Platt and Andy Goodway in the pack, with Sean Edwards on the substitutes bench at 14. On the Castleford side, Steve Larder, the Australian from Illawarra, is there at full-back. Fine player he is as well. And Gary French and Graham Steadman, that's a tremendous half-back partnership. Steadman having that great game in the War of the Roses match, and French, of course, from Brisbane Broncos. Number 8, big dangerman there, Kevin Ward. And at loose forward and captain, the inspirational John Joyner. So the referee for today's game, Jerry Kershaw there, just checking with his touch judges, blows the whistle, gets the game in motion. Graham Steadman, left boot, finds Andy Gregory. Mark Preston's first touch of the ball. Remember those marvellous tries against Barrow. Let's hope he gets a few chances to run today. Castleford preparing tremendously seriously for this game. They've had an overnight stay on Saturday night. So Andy Platt, fresh from his game yesterday, well, relatively fresh, certainly. That was a hard game. Blake in position for the kick, almost charged down there by Keith England, who was also on the bench for Great Britain yesterday. First touch for Steve Larder, but he's elusive and strong. Takes a good tackle from Ian Lucas there to bring him down. Number 10 well up then. David Planch, who Malcolm Riley put onto the Great Britain squad last season. So the halfbacks linking there, and Sean Irwin trying to burst through, but no real overlap on this left hand side. But Castleford prepared to throw the ball around. But renowned as a good footballing side, and certainly some good strong defence on both sides. Ward, the hub of things, and still involved. He's so strong and powerful. He can offload that ball in a tackle. Great break from Phil Murphy, and inside there is Grant Anderson. But Hampson in the action there, brings off a fine tackle. It's the last one now. Steadman in position. That's the kick. And Hampson underneath, and sure as ever. So a big round of applause there from the Wigan fans for Steve Hampson after that unfortunate incident yesterday in the international. But that's a penalty to Wigan. At the play the ball, Castleford not in line and not the 5 metres back. So Jerry Kershaw has awarded the penalty to Wigan, and Phil Blake it is to push the ball. He slices that off the right hand side of his foot. Not a great deal of wind here today, but it's been a very wet morning. That ball's lost in the tackle there, so a sad mistake for Wigan. Losing position on the first tackle as Les Davison tried to offload that ball. So there is the confrontation today. Davison and Ward, two of the finer exponents of front row play. French wins and distributes wide. There's the set move with St John Ellis coming in from the left wing, and he's bouncy. Doesn't seem to have a great deal of weight, but certainly plenty of spring there as he bounced off that first tackle. Joyner prompting wide out, trying to get Phil Murphy in the second row forward through the gap. So Wigan's defence being tested as Keith England, using the forearm, drives in, but Andy Platt and Andy Goodway hanging on. Of course, Andy Goodway, a product of Castleford rugby in his youth. Steadman with the kick through. That's a planned move, but it may well have gone dead. No, just bounces into touch. So a well-judged kick there from Graham Steadman has put Castleford within 5 metres of the Wigan line. Jerry Kershaw having a word with the front rows before they go down. Oh, that's well heeled, and Gregory gets a good ball, well taken by Byrne. Hampson pushing off Steadman, but the attack just drifting across the field. Ian Gildart, first and action, almost burst through that first tackle. Good run from the young second row forward as Castleford regroup in defence, and Dermott sells the dummy and links beautifully with Goodway. But that's hit Davison. Is it not forward? Yes, it has. Cedar come off the chest, but the hands may well have just touched the ball as well. But Jerry Kershaw in no doubt as to his decision. So French fees, but that comes straight out, and it's a free kick in fact. So I think he's penalising Wigan, is Jerry Kershaw. In fact, he's penalising Martin Dermott for striking too early, foot up. So all the territorial play at the moment has been in the Wigan half. Castleford building up the pressure. Phil Murphy in that first drive. Kevin Ward's going to take the second one. In fact, it's the dummy, and England takes it, and that's a great ball, but it's intercepted by Byrne. Well, that was almost a chance for Castleford, but Byrne, fine anticipation. And good way, driving away. Fine game he had yesterday, scoring those two marvellous tries. I just wonder how much energy is taken out of these Great Britain players. But certainly at the moment, both Andy Goodway and Andy Platt very much involved in the players. Lucas tries to find Dean Bell, and Goodway was tackled off the ball by Sean Irwin, trying to support Gregory, his first chance, and that's a great kick through, and Gregory with great pace, and he's laid out by the fullback, but that could be a try for Preston. Advantage is gained, the ball goes back, Preston has scored. Well, Hampson congratulates Mark Preston. The test judge speaks to the referee about the incident involving Andy Gregory, and we come back and see a prostrate scrum half as he kicked through. There was no doubt that Steve Larder, who has been sent, now the referee is sending Steve Larder off the field, and he's going off for 10 minutes in what was certainly a blatant, professional and very bad foul. It was Gregory's first real touch of the ball, and that beautiful chip over the top. He outpaced Gary French, his opposite number, and then a beautiful little chip through himself. And of course Preston, well, he's always having support of kicks like that, and the bounce was kind. He picked it up coolly, and that's Wigan's first try after just 5 minutes play. But Gregory happily resumed there. He looks none the worse for the wear. A tough little character, and of course out to prove to Great Britain and everybody that he's the number one in the game. So Stedman kicks off, Blake having missed that conversion attempt. Wigan in the lead by that one try. Skildart sidesteps and is met by Dean Sampson, who, son of former coach Dave Sampson, played in the front row as well as the second row. Hampson linking in the line. Davison taking it close to the gain line and making that 5 yards advantage. Dermott links and goes on his own. Lucas was the foil, but Wigan looking eager, looking as if they want to play some expansive rugby as Goodway links with Bell. With that, a good tackle from Graham Sutherwood as he came in. It looks as if Sutherwood may well have been playing in the centre. There's some rearrangement of play on the Castleford side, obviously because of that dismissal of Steve Larder, but that a fine kick, beautifully controlled. And Castleford have got St John Ellis, the left wing, playing at full-back, it was seen. John Joyner's come out to 6, a position of course that he's played so many times, and Stedman has gone out into the centre. So that's the rearrangement on the Castleford side, but it's 13 against 12, and there is Joyner himself, but well wrapped up by Jed Byrne. So now a chance for Wigan to put the pressure on Castleford inside their own 22. Murphy, who made that fine break in the first couple of moments, but not able to get through there. Davidson and Jed Byrne bringing off a fine tackle. Now Kevin Ward, has been doubts about his fitness, and certainly that was intercepted by Blake and well spotted as Ward tried to hand it off. A chance now for Wigan as Lucas links with Gregory. Gregory's calling the tune. Beautiful long ball out onto this right hand side. There's a chance for Lydon. Lydon scored. Joe Lydon for Wigan, the second try of the day. after Phil Blake had intercepted that Kevin Ward attempted pass. From the play of the ball, it was shouted it quickly. Gregory wanted it. He got it from Lucas. And then Gregory, with that superb eye for the gap, sent out that beautiful long ball to Lydon. And Lydon, despite the attempts of the cover, squeezes in the corner. So Stedman once again kicking off as Blake kick attempted conversion just drifted past that left hand upright. Gildar on the burst, almost reaches that 22-metre line. Goodway wanted to get in on the act. The dummy from Blake. Goodway drifting across and trying to burst through John Joyner's tackle. Well, a good tackle there from Gary French. Andy Platt staying at his feet but being forced down by Keith England. Davison just slipping there. As you can see, the surface looks good, but a lot of heavy rain. And there's that kick again from Gregory, and Gregory in space. This time he goes past it. So again, Gregory really very quick to spot the opportunity. Martin Dermott calling for the ball on the right. Andy Gregory puts the kick upfield. Another fine kick. The scrum half, everything he's done so far in this game has been of the golden touch. So two chips over the top have resulted in possession again for Wigan. The first one, the try for Mark Preston, and then almost another try as Gregory had plenty of support. French feeds the ball. Joyner tries to get past Byrne, but Jed Byrne, one of the outstanding all-round players in this Wigan team, played in almost every position except the front row. A utility player of the highest order. Now the Wigan defensive alignment keeping Castleford at bay. Keith England trying to drive through, but no way forward. Two good tackling second row forwards there. Stedman sides past Andy Platt. Preston takes the ball well. Castleford have moved up quickly though. Hampson sidesteps almost inside plunge, but Southernwood wraps him up. Switch to Lucas. Good play. The number 10 who's got good pair of hands and finds Blake. Desperate tackle there from Sean Irwin though. Davison takes it up, but Castleford's reception committee meets him, but he still manages to get away, and Blake's forced his way through. Good play between the two Australians. Davison strong in the tackle, and Blake that acceleration as Edwards links with Byrne. Dean Bell takes that ball inside and sidesteps past Keith England. That was almost a tackle off the ball, but Castleford have regained possession. Ward the knock on, and the scrum will be in Wigan's favour. Jerry Kershaw indicating the infringement was Castleford's. So Andy Gregory feeding the scrum, a chance for a set move, but the scrummers wheel round. Gregory picks up, and a beautiful piece of play there as Byrne juggles again. So things just not quite going right at the moment there. That final pass just going astray, with the line almost at the mercy of the Wigan players. Preston getting involved in the act and working hard from acting halfback. Well, that was a strong drive from Phil Murphin, the second row forward. Now Sampson having to go on his own, and French calling the tune, one out. And there is French with the kick. And that's high, and that's a testing kick as Hampson comes across. Dummy from Lydon as Hampson was clear, but can't get away from Grant Anderson. But Hampson's in touch there, so a rather sloppy piece of play from Wigan there as they had possession. Committing the cardinal sin of running into touch, and certainly on the second tackle that's not what the doctor ordered. Gary French feeding the scrummage again. The crowd incensed at that, but It's Castleford ball, and Castleford back up to full strength now. Stedman stands in at number 6. Larder's come back onto the field, having served his 10-minute suspension. So French with that explosive acceleration, but that gap quickly closed there. Ian Gildart and Ian Lucas. Jonah getting on the action, trying to prompt Southernwood, but Southernwood under pressure. The tackle from Dean Bell, loses the ball, and Wigan once again gain possession. So a chance to settle things down as Ian Gildart takes that second drive towards the halfway line. Certainly a gap wide out, and Burner spotted it. Lucas is there, and Lucas finds the gap and almost links with Preston, but that's a second knock on. So as Preston knocked it forward, it was Castleford who managed to get possession. David Plange takes the drive. But Castleford moving a good 20 yards backwards there. Stedman puts a great ball in for Larder, and there's a link inside, but it's Jed Byrne who's got back there. Good play from the number 6. A bit of ambitious play from Castleford, which didn't come off. So one or two mistakes creeping into the game at the moment on both sides. Davidson linking with his fellow front row forward Ian Lucas. So gaps occurring all over the place, and there's one from Gregory. He tried to get the ball away again under pressure. Jerry Kershaw saying the ball's gone forward. That's going to be a scrum down. It's going to be Castleford to feed. So Neil Batty is coming on as a substitute for Castleford, and he goes straight into the second row. And so did that ball by the looks of it, and French almost makes the break close to the scrimmage. Well, Keith England is an uncompromising number 10, been around in the game for quite a long time, but he met an uncompromising tackle there from Ian Lucas, and it is Ian Lucas himself who gets down on that loose ball. Good alert play from the number 10. Now Wigan, can they keep possession this time and not lose it? It's gone on the floor, and that's another knock on. Martin Dermott pleading not guilty, but just a little bit over ambitious at the moment, and too many mistakes being made. Although Wigan are leading by those 8 points, those 2 tries, they would really like much more control. Stedman, who is quick, has got pace, but this time has to offload. And that's a fine break from Sean Irwin, showing lots of strength there as he bursts through that Dean Bell tackle. First touch from Neil Batty, but there, good tackling again from Lydon and Bell in this right wing partnership. Well, Kevin Ward is this is a comeback game for him with his recent injuries, and he seems to have no ill effects at the moment, but not being involved in the game as much as perhaps you would normally expect. French trying to get his backs going. This time it's Furman, and then it's Irwin, but Phil Blake fast enough to make the tackle. Stedman quick enough to get away and put the tacking. Good clever footwork from the Yorkshire number 6. Had an outstanding game in that War of the Roses game here when Yorkshire trounced Lancashire, and since his £145,000 transfer he really has looked the mark in Castleford's colours. So Gregory wins possession. There is Byrne. Byrne tries to fend off Steve Larder, but good defence from Castleford. They drive the number 6 backwards. Dean Bell rolls off that first tackler from England, but too many Castleford jerseys there. So with just over 20 minutes gone in this first half, it's those two fine tries from Wigan that separate the two teams, but a host of mistakes which really have upset the rhythm of the play. But that's a great ball, and Preston's in the clear. He sidesteps inside and outside. On the last tackle now, Plange had deliberately stayed back for the kick. Now there is Hampson with the kick, and that's high, and that's testing. That's certainly going to test St John Ellis. The youngster's underneath it, but he took it well, and sidesteps past Lydon and Bell, but it's Hampson as well who misses him, and he's still going. Lydon eventually gets back, but the youngsters made a fantastic amount of ground with some really elusive play. Well, that almost looked a forward pass there as Plange comes inside, and Plange is going to score. David Plange has scored a try for Castleford out of almost nothing. Well, it was French who got the game in motion, then Plange taking that ball on the angle, in the gap, beautifully timed pass. And he had the pace and strength to go inside the cover there and score under the post for Castleford's first try. A fairly straightforward kick then for Stedman, and that is 2 points, so the gap just the 2 points as Wigan lead 8-6 after 23 minutes play. So Steve Hampson recovered after the knock as St John Ellis burst through him a moment ago. Kicks off. Steve Larder, the Aussie fullback, who's had his 10-minute sin bin, makes the play towards the 22. Ooh, what a great tackle from Goodway that was. Getting really underneath Neil Batty, the substitute forward. Of course, Castleford missing the organising skills of Beardmore, the hooker. So as Lydon picks the ball up and looks for support, tries to go outside, but can't get past Grant Anderson there. Certainly no ill effects to the leg by the looks of it so far, so that's good news indeed as Bell resists that challenge from Keith England. Good drive from Ian Gildart now. Gregory calling for the ball, one out, but has to juggle. But manages to set the play going the other way, and it's Davison in space. England meets him, but Davison can't get rid of that ball in the tackle. Hampson in position as he pushes that ball upfield, and that's kept in play. Is it going to go over the dead ball line? It is indeed. In fact, it's going to be a tap. 22. The crowd didn't think that it went, but Jerry Kershaw is the man that matters. So the quick tap as Ward takes the drive off Southernwood, runs straight into Byrne and pushes him off. But Byrne recovers, and headed by Lucas and Martin Dermott, they bring the big Castleford prop down. Well, a great drive from Neil Batty, and Castleford making a few holes now in this Wigan defence. Joyner offloads, switches direction, changes it to the far side of the field. And Gregory almost charging that Gary French kick down, but it's taken by Hampson, and Hampson decides to run straight at Grant Anderson. So Andy Gregory organising the troops, one out. The inside ball. But Castleford defence a little bit stronger now, perhaps a little bit more confidence after that try by David Plange. There's the set move, and there's Goodway in the gap. But that's gone forward. Gerard Byrne looking for the chance to support Andy Goodway, but the pass was forward. So again, that final ball just going astray. And that is the penalty against Martin Dermott. Jerry Kershaw quite clear about his decision. Andy Gregory wanting to ask the reason and obviously not agreeing with it. But it's Castleford back on attack, and Castleford now a chance to put on one of their set moves from the tap penalty just inside the 22. Phil Murphy, who's had a good strong game so far for Castleford, takes that first drive. And Batty runs fairly close to the ground the second drive, so they're going to look see if they're going to use their props for the next two instalments as they work the switch. Joyner tries to go through the gap close to the play the ball, but Lucas hangs on. So Wigan on their own line in defence now. Castleford applying the pressure. Keith Ward with that little run around with Southernwood, but still Wigan hold on. Gregory making the tackle. French tries to get the game in motion, pushes the long ball wide. There's a chance on this left wing. St John Ellis comes back inside. Good Wigan cover. Dean Bell making the tackle. But Cass still inside the 22, just 10 metres out. French with the high kick. Hampson is there. But it's taken by Castleford and knocked forward. Is that a try? No, says the referee. It was knocked forward. Larder was up quick, but it was the Castleford player that knocked the ball forward. It was on the last tackle, so it's a handover. And it's Goodway drifting out of the 22 as he so often does, trying to find that gap. Dermot with the dummy and the break. And good yardage made, linking with Davidson. Davidson the dummy. And Davidson stretching those legs. Good break for the number 8. But Wigan alive once again. Gregory in the action, this time not slipping. But the ball goes down. Has it gone forward? Yes, it has. So things just not quite going right. Castleford have won that ball from the scrum. And again, Grant Anderson almost getting through. Good cover tackle from Andrew Goodway. Steadman is elusive. That left foot of his links with Larder, but Hampson's in the way, and Hampson gets the ball, but it's got back from Southernwood, so that's back to 1. Collision of the two full-backs, but it's Castleford in possession. As Ward straightens it up and bursts through the big Castleford prop, trying to make an impact on this game. Second tackle, Castleford in possession. They've got lots of set moves close to the play the ball, and that was one of them, but it's gone forward. That won't be a try for Keith England. It'll be a scrum down and Wigan's feed. Good defence from Wigan, forcing the error. So Gregory feeds. The scrum fairly static. The forwards perhaps having a slight breather as Hampson goes underneath that tackle, and the penalty awarded for the attempted high tackle. So this is going to be a kick for touch from Joe Lydon. That right foot working well. Fine kick on that left-hand touch line. Wigan perhaps needing just to settle things down a little bit more. As Davison pushes Keith England to the floor. And if support had been a little bit closer, he certainly would have had that ball offloaded. The second drive from Lucas, but that's lost again. So too many mistakes being made. Neil Batty getting away from two tackles, drifting across field though. The switch on the short side. But no way forward for Keith England. French sees the gap. There's a gap between Lucas and Dermot as he moved up, and Lucas and French has sold the dummy and has gone between Gregory and Hampson for the simplest of tries to put Castleford in the lead. It's French who saw the gap between Lucas and Martin Dermot, accelerated through it, and then as Gregory and Hampson were in the way, a beautiful and outrageous dummy from the number 7 shot straight through the gap and under the post. Another straightforward kick for Steadman then. This would stretch the lead to 4 points. Left-footed, former Featherstone player, kicks it over. 12-8. Castleford are leading with 8 minutes left for play in this first half. Steve Hampson kicks off, and Wigan, trailing by those 4 points, will want to settle their play down and certainly get more into the action by keeping the ball for those 6 plays. But for the moment it's firing up in defence as Davison works hard to make those 2 tackles. And Sutherwood sells a dummy this time. So dummies being sold left, right and centre. Stedman gets in with that left foot, testing Steve Hampson, but Hampson takes well and tries to get to his feet very quickly. Preston gets away and tries to go around Plange and almost does so, and does indeed, and fires away. He's got Phil Blake with him. Well, the pass is knocked on. A great cover tackle from John Joyner. So the pass just going astray at the last moment. Beautiful piece of play from Preston, but Phil Blake just not quite able to take that pass. Castleford inside their own 22 then after that tremendous piece of cover from John Joyner. And here's Hampson once again. Almost gets past French, but Hampson offloads to Goodway. So Andy Goodway being supported by the crowd as Dean Bell straightens up. There's not been a tremendous amount of consistency in Wigan's play in the last quarter of an hour, but now they're building it up. So Martin Dermott looks for the call and swings the ball out to the halfbacks as they work the overlap. But Castleford defence had closed them down then, and there was no real gap for Andy Platt to run through. Byrne linking with Davison. Davison straightening up well. Good continuous play by Wigan. Gregory sells the dummy and pushes a little kick through, but that's perhaps gone too far. Well, not far enough, in fact, for Castleford's point of view, and St John Ellis has to kick the ball dead. So eventually Wigan have built up some pressure on this Castleford side. Have managed to keep possession for the 6, and that Gregory kick, almost perfection there. And St John Ellis having to run back. So as Castleford waste a little bit of time, they're in the lead. It's Stedman slowly coming across. Gary Kershaw has a word with him to take the drop out under the post. Blake takes it inside the 22. There's a brick wall in front of him though, and Castleford defend well. Lucas takes the drive towards the post. Dermott goes on his own. So Gregory with the set move now as he links, and the inside ball there as Goodway bursts through the gap. Has he got the strength to go over? Inches short. The Wigan set move almost putting Goodway over. Castleford up very quickly on that, play the ball on the last tackle now. Goodway flings it back. Gregory with the kick, that's high. There's a leap forward. The ball's bouncing around. It's still alive. Has that been knocked forward? Castleford gained possession, so all very, very tense indeed. The high kick from Gregory almost getting possession for Wigan there, but it was Castleford who eventually came out of it as that ball was knocked backwards. And it's Castleford under pressure, driving from their own line. And that's not the first time that Batty's got away from a few tackles, but he's drifted across field and he's made no forward progress for Castleford. So Wigan got their tails up a little bit in the last 2 or 3 minutes of this first half. Stedman with the kick, pushes that between Mark Preston and Steve Hampson, and Preston collects. But Gary French makes a good tackle. Hampson comes in, takes a breather off the forwards and links inside with Joe Lydon. So Gildart takes that second drive now. Gregory is calling for the ball, one out. He's linking. That was a set move, but a little bit of overrunning wide out has meant that the ball has gone forward. Yet one more mistake which Wigan have committed in this first half. A little bit more depth from the runners then, and that certainly would have been an excellent move on Wigan's part. Referee not happy with it, the crowd not happy with the decision. The ball didn't appear to go in. French puts that one in certainly, and Castleford have won it. Steadman tries to put Steve Larder away, the fullback, but Larder not getting away from the tackle there of Gerard Byrne. So Ward with the ball, running well. Dermot goes low and hangs on to those boots as Davison finishes off up top. Joyner with the chip ahead. Preston gets back there as Plange puts pressure on him, and that's picked up by the centre, Sean Irwin, and Irwin has scored the try after an innocuous kick through, it seemed, from John Joyner. Joyner kicks over the top. Preston seem to have it covered, but the ball a little bit greasy, the surface, shot from underneath him, and there was Irwin to pick the ball up and go through a tackle of Steve Hampson to score in the corner. The half-time hooter goes. Jerry Kershaw blows the whistle. Castleford go in leading by 16 points to 8. A tremendous start by Wigan with those two tries from Preston and Lydon, but then a series of mistakes has led to Castleford building up the pressure, and they fully deserve that half-time lead with 3 tries. The second half set in motion, and Wigan with that 8 points to catch up, and certainly the first quarter of an hour they were playing some control rugby, but then it all seemed to go wrong. I'm sure coach John Morney will want more control from his players in this second half. The discipline on the ball is very important. So Keith England getting away from 1 or 2 tackles there. Steadman now pushes Castleford downfield with that left boot. Hampson takes on the run and takes well. Good run from the fullback, almost to the halfway line. With Lydon trying to get away from St John Ellis there as Gregory gets in the action and links with Lucas, but still a lack of depth, I think, to the running. Set move, Platt comes inside, strong run from the number 12. The sort of driving that he was doing yesterday for Great Britain, he's now doing again for Wigan. Gregory again calling tune and looking for the gaps. He made those gaps in the first half, he's making them now. Long ball inside, that's intercepted, but again picked up by Preston. So back to 1 after that fine break from Andy Gregory. Wigan now in with a great chance as the halfbacks link. Dean Bell with Goodway, but that final pass just going astray as Castleford regroup in defence. Lydon picks it up and Lydon straightens up. Lydon in the gap. This could be a try for Andy Platt. Still keeping alive the ball as Wigan in the form of Lucas now under the post. Lucas steps out of the tackle. Harlem Globetrotters, Bell in the act. Off to Goodway. Goodway scores. What a marvellous Wigan try at the start of this second half. The ball came through so many pairs of hands, it's almost impossible to recount, but it certainly started with Joe Lydon. And from the moment that Ian Lucas got that ball back to Andy Gregory, the overlap was out on this left-hand side. Bell revolved round in the tackle. Goodway was in support. And it's Andy Goodway who finishes off a mesmeric piece of football by the Wigan side, which has pulled them back another 4 points. Blake with the conversion attempt, and that's good. That's 2 points. The gap now just 2 points at 16 points to 14 in Castleford's favour. Steadman with the left foot, testing Wigan now, pushing them back to their own 22 area. Ian Gildart, as ever, runs it out from the back. Andy Goodway, the try scorer. There's still plenty of energy left, but he's lost possession there. Castleford back on the attack then. Batty setting the play up on the second tackle. Wigan having to defend in their own 22 now. Keith England takes that third drive. He plays it to himself and goes on his own and still keeps going. So Castleford on the last tackle now, but Batty has lost the ball. So disappointment for Castleford, a let-off for Wigan. And this game certainly ebbing and flowing, fluctuating first with one side on top and then the other. Gregory wins the ball in the scrum. Hampson tries to hand off Steve Larder and managed to get to his feet quickly. Preston getting away from Irwin, but Irwin brings off a good tackle. Platt pushing off Ward's attempted tackle there, getting over the 22-metre line. Davison with the mismove and handing it on. Lucas has to go down on it and does so bravely and successfully. Joe Lydon back in position for the kick downfield, but that's an easy one for Larder to take. Joe Larder playing the waiting game and the kick back. And this has pushed Steve Hampson across to that right-hand side. But Hampson picks it up and takes it and almost pushes off Steadman. Wigan back in possession. Goodway at acting halfback, links with Dean Bell. Gregory looking for the gaps and offloading beautifully to Goodway again. This is good Wigan play. But that ball again going astray. A little bit of overrunning. The supporting player just a little bit too flat. Well, that's a knock-on and a mistake by David Plunge. So one mistake from one side, then one from the other. The game certainly not lacking in excitement, but sometimes the quality perhaps a little bit worse than it should be. So Gregory feeding the scrum as it wheels round. And Byrne takes it, straightens up, hits the centre of the field. Wigan in possession, just inside the Castleford half. Lucas tries to find the gap and makes his way forward. Gildart hangs on to this one and offloads beautifully to Davison. That was forward, says Jerry Kershaw, but for all intents and purposes that was a beautifully timed ball from Ian Gildart. Great support from Les Davison. So that's going to be another scrum. And the referee stopping the clock. The substitution is going to be made. Jerry Kershaw eventually seeing. There is the clock's been stopped. And on this side here we can see that number 6, Jed Byrne, is coming off. Number 14, Sean Edwards, comes on. The hero of yesterday's international is on the field. And on the field to do a job of work that he did so successfully yesterday. So the back three getting in on the tackle there on the substitute Neil Batty. As French tries to offload wide out. That's a good ball, but Dean Bell is in position and makes the ball. In fact, he's lost the ball. It's gone forward. Sean Edwards asking for the penalty. Jerry Kershaw responds. The penalty for offside. The ball went forward from Castleford, and as Sean Irwin dropped on the ball, he was in front of Grant Anderson, and therefore the penalty awarded to Wigan. And certainly not many penalties awarded to Wigan in the first half, so a chance for them to set up a move. So the wide drive from Ian Lucas, 2 men out outside Andy Gregory. Now the set move as the half-backs combine. Edwards linking with Andy Platt, but the gap closed there well by Castleford. Kevin Ward and Grant Anderson's blocking up that short side. The dummy inside, and Ian Gildart takes the inside ball again, linking with Davidson. This time the pass is okay, and Davidson still going. The Aussie prop still moving that ball around. Great take from Andy Platt. Wigan trying to keep the ball alive, but also trying not to make mistakes, as Edwards puts the kick in for Preston. Blake is chasing, Preston's chasing, Plange gets back, and Plange, who's no mean winger himself, gets away from the tackle. He's got pace and strength, but has to come back, and comes back towards his opposite number, Mark Preston. So the game hotting up. Edwards is back on the field, and he's prompting and probing and pushing Castleford back at the moment. Are Wigan inside this Castleford 22. Platt moving in very quickly then, as Joe Lydon, working hard at the play the ball, makes the tackle. And Steadman has to run away from Ian Gildart, and Ian Lucas puts some pressure on him as well, as Hampson takes that ball from the left-footed kick of Graham Steadman. Preston in the action, but Irwin equal to the task again. Good tackle. Irwin's having a good strong game for the Castleford outfit. Martin Dermott getting over the halfway line with that drive. Steve Hampson steps in to take over. Gregory trying to find a gap, but Southernwood had closed it on the inside. So Edwards calling the tune, one out. And finds the gap and finds space. Dean Bell's with him on the outside. Edwards is going. Great cover, but Edwards is there, back in support, and again flings it inside. The touch judge flags goes up. The referee points to the infringement. A beautiful break from Edwards. Dean Bell almost getting over. A desperate tackle from Steve Larder. And as the players confront one another, no real animosity there. There's going to be a scrum. It's going to be a Castleford fee, but it was almost a Wigan try. So the referee saying he wants the scrum on the 10. Kevin Ward nowhere near inside that scrimmage at the moment. He is now. French feeds. And certainly the only free kicks at the scrimmage in this game so far have been against Martin Dermott striking. There's been nothing about feeding, so the scrum halves at liberty almost to put the ball where they wish. Although the ruling about putting it on your hooker's foot means that they have some licence. And certainly we've seen plenty of fast action with the ball coming from the scrimmage. So Steadman back with the kick again. That's eluded Hampson. He has to go back almost to his 22. He plays it with his foot, which means everybody's onside, and Preston comes back to support and gets away from Plange. And Preston's on a runner. Preston's going. The Wigan flyer. He's trying to get past Larder. He does so. Links inside with Bell. The play's kept going. There's Dermott. The ball's gone forward. And Castleford have recovered. But tremendously exciting play from Wigan with that final pass just going astray once more. So Castleford desperately defending now. That was, although Larder didn't actually tackle Preston and hold him down, it certainly stopped a certain try from the Preston flyer. So have Castleford got the energy to rebuild from this? They certainly have found a gap as Southernwood makes the break and pushes off Edwards. Larder's in support. Edwards gets back. So Wigan in disarray in defence at the moment. That's a penalty. It's a penalty to Wigan, and it's a penalty against Southernwood for pushing the Joe Lydon away. Well, Jerry Kirsch are quite certain about the interpretation. Almost a try for Wigan at one end and almost a try for Castleford at the other. The game building up, and we've still got 25 minutes left for play as Lydon finds touch on this left-hand side. He certainly had one or two runs, Joe Lydon, testing that damaged leg of his, and hopefully has come out all right. Davison pushes off that first tackle. Offside at the play the ball. The crowd cheer the decision. Andy Gregory throws the ball down in disgust, but it's going to be a set move called for. Joe Lydon it is to take the kick for touch, but he may have sliced that one. He has in fact, and that hasn't found touch, and it's found plunge instead. So Castleford have possession. They're still inside their 22, but that a mistake as Lydon failed to find touch. French pushing the ball wide out, and there's a chance outside as St. John Ellis stretches his legs. Edwards comes across, but St. John Ellis gets away from it, and the tackle puts the winger into touch. So a bit of an experience there on the left wing. Certainly Ellis has got pace. Wigan have won the ball in the scrum. The set move as Bell takes the drive towards the middle of the post. The switch in play between the halfbacks. Gregory pushes off and puts Lydon away, but no, the ball has gone down. In fact, it was Goodway. That set move almost coming off. The drive to the middle of the field and then the switch in play back to the short side where the scrum was. But again, just a little bit of overrunning. England meeting the force of Davidson's tackle. French in the action with the kick. That's high, that's long. But it's bounced in field for Steve Hampson. Well, Mark Preston acting half-back and looking for Edwards, who's got back there. Edwards dummies and gets away from England's high tackle. So Castleford perhaps with a bit of a point to prove now as their defence steps up in ferocity. Andy Platt can't get onto his feet to play the ball. Keith England lying on top of him. The dummy from Gregory, and Gregory's gone through. He bounces off Ward. McDermott linking with Edwards. Edwards swings the long ball out. Preston has to come inside. Castleford cover well though. Blake in the action with the kick, and that's gone wide, but it's a straightforward kick for St. John Ellis. So this Will-o'-the-Wisp, who made a beautiful break in the first half, this time has to succumb to the tackle of Andy Goodway. So the game coming almost to the last quarter now, and perhaps slipping a little bit in standard as mistakes are being made. The side's perhaps getting a little bit tired. Certainly a lot of people on view yesterday, So Castleford with the runaround between Sutherwood and Joyner. Ward on the outside, but can't get past Sean Edwards. Fine tackle. Blake knocking it down and play on. There's a chance for Phil Blake. He's a good footballer. The referee said it's okay. Blake has scored. But we have to come back. I think he may well have consulted his touches. Phil Blake looks disconsolately back. Jerry Kershaw has indicated the knock on. And certainly Phil Blake seemed to knock the ball down as Castleford tried to move this ball on Wigan's left-hand side. So the chance denied. And Gregory's got possession of the ball, but in fact he's had to give it to Gary French. And French feeds. Almost a loose forward's feet, it seemed. Stedman, who's found very little space to run today. He certainly didn't get past Sean Edwards then. And Phil Murphy, who's several strong runs in the first half, and mainly quiet in the second half. Ward, strong, offloads to England. That's a little bit of basketball that, and the ball's bounced around. And it looks like, in fact, Les Davidson has got the ball, so Wigan in possession. And Edwards wanting it quickly on this side, but Castleford have regrouped, and Wigan, Edwards changes direction well. Gregory almost breaks through, links inside with Martin Dermott. Dermott straightens and links with Bell. Great play. Edwards is inside him. Oh, that's a great tackle from Larder. Larder covered both the Wigan players then, but Wigan still in attack as Davison takes it forward. Gildart links outside. That's a great tackle. As Plange comes in, the chance goes. Irwin flew in then on Goodway. And Plange came in on the ball as Jerry Kershaw stops the clock for the injury to Plange. That was certainly a try-saving tackle by Sean Irwin on Andy Goodway. The overlap was on this left-hand side. Plange seems to have recovered. Castleford trying to run it out. Wigan still trailing by those 2 points. There's plenty of time left. But who has the energy to keep going? Ward certainly seems to have lost it a bit, and Wigan have gained possession. A great drop by Andrew Goodway. Gregory moves it wide to Edwards. Edwards steps inside and finds the gap. Sutherwood finds the ankle and makes the tackle. So Castleford have to defend desperately. Wigan in attack. Gregory prompting and putting Goodway in the gap, but the ball's gone forward. An unfortunate error once again, as Wigan had prized that opening. Andy Gregory putting Andrew Goodway into that gap. So back again with Castleford on their 22, where they've been for most of the last 5 minutes. Wigan keeping the tackling going, pushing them forward. So back once again to Stedman. Pressure from Lucas, but to no avail. Preston picks it up and gets away from that first tackle again. Certainly the crowd didn't like that. Kershaw, referee Jerry Kershaw comes across, but no penalty as Dermott sees the gap. Andy Platt juggles, but still keeps possession, so that's secure play on the halfway line. Wigan in possession. Edwards calling the tune, trying to put Goodway past Joyner, but John Joyner, good experienced player that he is, good sound tactician, good defence. Davison finds the gap, can't get through to Dean Bell, almost. So good Castleford defence have kept Wigan to the halfway line. Davison kicks it forward, but that is a handover. I'm not so sure that Les Davison knew that that was the last tackle. So Lucas makes the tackle. on Southernwood. Gary French, we've seen little of him this half, but scored that great try in the first half. And that's an injury, it looks like, to Andy Platt. So he went in on that third tackle. He's had a bang. Ward drives off the first tackle and links beautifully with England. This is good play. Hampson and Larder. The referee has allowed play on because it could well be a try. It is in fact a try for Grant Anderson. The try has been awarded. Steve Hampson and the referee are talking. Steve Hampson, has been sent off the field. And certainly the video evidence will be needed for this one. That was a sad piece of rugby. Dean Bell pleading with Jerry Kershaw, but that will have no difference. So twice in 2 days, Steve Hampson has found himself being sent off the field. And although Dean Bell is still protesting, and so is Steve Hampson, he's been sent from the field. On the intervention of the touch judge, he's saying that Steve Hampson, who can't quite believe what's happening to him, has actually tripped Steve Larder as the kick went over the top. And certainly it seemed that Larder made the most of it. But that is surely one of the saddest sights in rugby league. And Steve Hampson may yet be proved not guilty. But we have to go back to the conversion attempt. The game is still in progress. It's Castleford in the lead. And Stedman to add another 2 points, which she does. So 22 points to 14, and Castleford are in the lead. Wigan have a mountain to climb. Lydon restarts. It'll be a reorganised back line. It'll be the Wigan 12 against the Castleford 13. And after all the pressure that Wigan had put on this Castleford side, it was Castleford who came away with that try. And there's England taking the ball up. Castleford will be happy to have that 8 points leeway. There's Southernwood with the dummy. Well, that is a knock forward. So Castleford making the mistake. So we see Ian Gildart coming off the field to replaced by Philip Clark. Philip, who's had an outstanding season last season in the Alliance side, and of course couldn't play in the first part of the season with that broken leg, as Blake makes the break on that side, links his side with Joe Lydon. The ball still being kept alive. Platt picks it up. A good Castleford cover there as Wigan exploited the gap on that right hand side. But Blake taking the ball standing still and has to succumb to the Castleford tackling. Lucas takes the drive. Philip Clark in support there, but the set move as Edwards links and tries to put Goodway away. Goodway, of course, now playing in the centre, where he finished off the game for Great Britain yesterday. And Clark getting his first taste of the Castleford defence. The halfbacks linking again, but Edwards under a lot of pressure then from John Joyner, who moved up quickly, and Lucas tidies up well. And it's back to one, says Jerry Kershaw, so we've got another 5 tackles after this. Gregory flung the ball and was trying to put Davison in the gap, but the ball just flopped down from his hands, just slipped away from him. Good defence from Wigan then as Clark and Andy Platt drive. Substitute Niobati forward. French with the kick. Blake at fullback gets past the first one. But Castleford now with their tails up after that try. They'll certainly be keen on defence and keen on keeping possession, as Wigan it is, with just 12 minutes left for play, have to get something from this game. Dermot the dummy and rolls off John Joyner's tackle. But there's little progress for Ian Lucas on that right hand side, with Castleford at full strength in defence. Gregory with the chip that worked first of all. The referee's blown the whistle for that, and certainly an incident on this side as Andy Goodway and Joe Lydon get involved. Well, that certainly was uncalled for. It was Gregory who kicked over the top, and the game just really exploding a little bit at the moment, and one or two unsavoury things happening. Jerry Kershaw will need to get firm control now. It was Gregory who kicked over. Ward apparently impeded him. Jerry Kershaw gave a penalty straight away, and then we had a bit of fisticuffs, but it's all sorted out now. We're back on the Castleford 22, where we're going to have been for so long in this second half, but Castleford have hung on so well. Gregory tries to find the gap, gets off one tackle. Southernwood driving in on the third one, and Jerry Kershaw's already awarded the tackle, the penalty in fact, to Wigan. A needless effort by Southernwood. Jerry Kershaw speaking strongly to the young hooker. The penalty's been given. The clock has been stopped. The referee points to the side. There's going to be a Castleford substitution. It's going to be Joe Lydon to take the kick, but the substitution is going to be made, and in fact it is Neil Batty, who came on as a substitute, who's hobbling off the field, and Terry McAllister will replace him. So Batty goes off the field, McAllister comes on, and we're going to have the chance to get 2 points as Jerry Kershaw pushes the Castleford players back 10. Joe Lydon, and the referee has awarded a penalty to Wigan in front of the post, which they now elect to tap. Because Castleford would not retire the 10, Wigan have got a penalty, and this time they're driving it through Davison. The game really now hotting up. It's Wigan desperate for the points. The ball has been lost. That's another penalty to Wigan. Davison getting involved with Southernwood. The two sides being kept apart as the tap is taken. Edwards has to recover. Steps inside Stedman, but Castleford got their tails up as well. Let's hope the game doesn't degenerate too much and we see some rugby. Dean Bell steps in the action and steps off that left foot. Wigan building up the pressure once more as the rain falls here at Central Park. It's going to make it that much more greasy, that much more difficult. Edwards sees the gap. There's a link with Platt. Platt's going. Good Castleford cover once more, but Wigan back on the ascendancy. Philip Clark, a wide ball to Gregory. Andy sells the dummy and sells another one, but fine. Terry McAllister too much of a handful as Gary French comes in and makes the tackle. Dermot goes on his own. French links. Gregory takes the ball, but also takes the tackle from McAllister. On the last tackle now. Castleford clinging on. Wigan trying to probe and prompt. Edwards with the kick. That's gone through. Plunge goes down. It goes backwards. And well gathered by the supporting Castleford players. But Wigan pushing Castleford towards their own line. Good tackle from Philip Clark on David Plange. Plange playing for a little bit of injury time perhaps. And he's been penalised for not playing the ball. But Wigan take the tap again. And once more try and get past this Castleford defence. Bell straightens it up close to the post. Gregory calling the tune one out. He's looking for Andy Platt, trying to push him through, but Stedman gets hold of the collar and pulls Andy Platt down. The ball being moved wide again. As Goodway hits the gap, and again Irwin comes in to make the tackle. Kept alive though, but Philip Clark can't quite gather that one. As Goodway resisted the challenge. So it's French with the feed in the scrum, and Wigan, who've put so much into this last 10 minutes. But Castleford have defended so magnificently. And they've been unable to finish off what breaks they've made. But still in with a chance with just 6 minutes left for play. Preston now trying to find some space. Joyner up very quickly, the Castleford defensive alignment there. It's Philip Clark links wide with Edwards, and there's a chance on that side as Blake gets in the action. A good tackle there from young St John Ellis on the Australian. Davison hits it up. But Castleford reform very quickly in defence. Back to one, says the referee. So another 5 tackles after this. As Philip Clark links inside and steps through the first tackle. That's a glimpse of the sort of play we've been seeing from this young lad in the alliance. Halfbacks linking. But again, it's Irwin on Goodway. But Goodway's strength sees him home. Dermot links. The ball kept alive. Lucas takes the pass. And again, it's on. Blake on that side. Blake's acceleration. But Blake's in touch. It's that tremendous Castleford cover once more which has foiled the Wigan outfit. So it's 5 against 5 with an injury to poor Murphy. But it's Castleford who get possession from the scrum, and Gary French makes sure of it by pouncing on the ball. St Janelli's feeling the full effects of the Wigan forwards there. But with 4 minutes left for play, our time running out for Wigan. Castleford in possession. French looking for the overlap on that side, but decides to hang on in the end. Steadman with the kick. Back there is Mark Preston. Can he find some space? Not past Irwin, who's defended magnificently all game. Blake once again on that side. And gets away from the first tackle, but Joyner's there again. He's covered magnificently for Castleford today. Gregory linking wide, but that's gone on the floor. Philip Clark picks it up and sees the gap, shows that dummy and links with Gregory. Wigan keeping the ball alive. Now there's an overlap on this side. Davison straightens up, links well with Edwards. Edwards there. Edwards is moving. Great run from the number 6. Wigan again exploiting the gap. Gregory managing to keep the ball, but it looks as if he's going to be tackled. It's a penalty, I think, for offside. Jerry Kershaw is pointing. In fact, Castleford must have been offside at the play of the ball. It allowed play on. Wigan take the tap. Lucas drives. Blake goes on his own. Still can't find the gap as Lydon taking the ball standing still. So the chance just gone as far as Wigan are concerned. Just 2 minutes left for play. As Castleford come back up to full strength, it's Neil Batty who comes back on the field for the injured Phil Murphy. And French will feed the scrimmage. It comes out on the side, but Castleford will be quite happy now just to hold out for these last 2 minutes. St Janellis coming in from the left wing there, keeping possession. Steadman takes over, but he's lost it. Great pick up there from Davidson. Is this a chance for Wigan? A last chance indeed. Gregory slips on the turf, but still possession kept by Wigan as they probe this Castleford defence. Philip Clark makes the drive towards the post, tries to get on his feet to play the ball quickly. Gregory combining and steps inside. Great ball to Lucas, still being kept alive, but the ball around Philip Clark's ears. And Jerry Kershaw awards the scrimmage. One against the head for Martin Dermott. Blake takes the ball, and that's the kick ahead. It's the kick. This play finished. Is that obstruction? The referee is awarding an obstruction try. It is in fact an obstruction try. I'm not quite sure who's awarded the try to, but the try has been given. The conversion will be in front of the post. Leiden is going to take it very quickly because we're actually into injury time, but the try has been awarded. It's 6 points to Wigan, and they're trailing now by just 2 points at 22-20. And it's Jerry Kershaw encouraging Castleford to get on with the game. We've now got 2 balls on the field. He stops the clock. Steadman it will be to kick off. So just 2 points behind, but is time on Castleford's side and not Wigan at the moment, as Clark sells the dummy. We've had just 1 minute of extra time added. Now then, what can Wigan do to prise open this defence of Castleford's? They need something special in this last second. It could come from Gregory, but the defence is there. Preston has picked it up and kicks ahead. It's a fine kick from Preston. But the referee has not given any penalty. The hooter has gone. Everybody on the field now knows it. Jerry Kershaw has blown his whistle in what has been a most eventful game. It's Castleford have come out on top. They've beaten Wigan here at Central Park by the narrowest of margins, 22 points to 20.